Kick it.
Just gotta remember
I think a lot of times in adult celiacs, it's triggered by, from the research we've done, it's triggered by some kind of trauma, either a surgery or a car accident, some kind of physical trauma that brings out this autoimmune disease. When we first got together, everything was fine. He was fine. And then he was at 27 or 28, he had his tonsils removed, which for an adult is like a major, he had his turbinates reduced to his head, he had a major facial surgery.
Okay.
After that, for a couple years, he had severe abdominal issues where he would have constant diarrhea, constant gas, constant pain, and he went to and from different doctors. He was to the point where he was in the hospital. They would send him home with all these, like, I'm constantly arguing with people over Western medicine. They just want to give you a pill to fix the symptom. They would give him pills to stop the cramping. They would give him pills to stop the acid burning, but they wouldn't try and figure out why he was having this in the first place. And finally he saw a GI, and the GI did the blood test and said, okay, yeah, you're celiac, this is what the thing is. But then they did the endoscopy, and the endoscopy came back negative. And the doctor said, without both, we can't give you a clear diagnosis.
Okay.
So we went back to eating bread and all that stuff, and he continued to have problems. Went to a different doctor. This doctor said, oh, I think it's your gallbladder. They took his gallbladder out.
Oh, wow.
The pathology report came back on his gallbladder that his gallbladder was perfectly fine. We saw another doctor, and the other doctor said, look, the blood test is enough for us. You may have, your small intestine is so big, maybe they biopsied a part that hadn't been affected yet. Maybe the villi in that part wasn't damaged. Maybe you weren't damaged at all and you caught it early enough.
Yeah.
But why would you continue to do this to yourself? And it got to the point for me where it was more of an emotional thing, knowing that if he continued to eat gluten, he was going to face a life of diabetes, thyroid issues, cancers, lymphomas, colon problems. I finally broke down and I said, I love you too much to watch you hurt yourself. I don't want to be a widow at 50. I don't want to change your colostomy bag at 60.
Yeah.
I said, if you're going to keep eating gluten, we're going to figure something out, because I'm not going to have a husband that's going to do this. So he hasn't touched it since.
Wow.
And that's when I said, this is genetic, we have to test the kids. My kids' symptoms were slightly different, both very different from each other. My daughter had no GI symptoms at all, although she would complain every once in a while. She called them hot poops. Sorry, future Charlotte, when you see this. But mostly she had pretty severe asthma to the point where she was on twice a day inhaled steroids on a nebulizer, and we had gone to the ER at least twice for her breathing, and eczema. My son had the GI issues as an infant. As soon as I stopped nursing and we had to switch into formula, because of the PCOS, I could not nurse exclusively.
Yeah.
Once we introduced the formula, he began to get really constipated to the point where he had actual, sorry future Sawyer, like anal fissures, and I would actually have to physically help him go. Wow. Which is excruciating because your infant is screaming, crying in pain, and you can't do anything. Finally, he hit, like, I guess 11 months of alternating severe constipation with diarrhea, that I said, all right, I'm done with the formula. Now you look back and you go, that's the same time I introduced the cereals to him.
Yeah.
And the cereals are barley, they're oats, they're, all those things. At his 2-year well visit, I think he weighed 22, 23 pounds. Still, same thing, 2 diapers of these little round rocks, and then followed by 2 diapers of diarrhea for 2 days. Completely gone.